Hey everyone, welcome back to our another video. In this video, we will be continuing with our last continuation of C Sharp. So in this video, I will be telling about common variables like what is bool, what is int, what is float and all. So stay with us. And also, if you didn't watch our previous video on basics of C Sharp or installing Visual Studio and other Unity videos, do check it out. It's on our Covisa channel. And also make sure to like and hit that subscribe button so that you will be stay updated with this. So here you can see the screen. Okay. And here we just left last time, correct? In the last video. In the last video, we understand about game object, but I will go in more depth about game object. So what are game objects? With the term game objects means you will understand that it's an object which are used in the game. It's like game objects which are used in the game. So for example, in our case, these all are game object because this is also a game object. This, and everything is a game object. Now I can add even this as a game object, but my script is not a game object. I can't drag it here. You can see it's not showing updating, correct? Also, my material is not a game object. My audio is not a game object because these are not here. But here I can add like a prefab because that will contain a game object. Or like for example, I will give an example of dragging something in a prefab. Prefab. So for example, I can add this because it's a part of a game only. So in that's how it works. Okay, I just control Z. Okay, yeah, that's how it works. Okay, these all things are a game object, but not the stuffs like audio materials, scenes. They are components that are helping any game object to be developed. It can be a mesh, it can be a material, and all, but they are not considered as a game object. So generally, when we use public game object variable, we mean that will be taking reference of something which are in the game. It can be a prefab which we need to instantiate also or anything. Great. Now we'll we'll learn about other thing. Okay. So what's the other thing? Here you see public game object. There are more types of variable. I will just remove the. I already told about what's public and private. Public means which you can access from anywhere. Like you are seeing, I can see the Q1 here in my inspector. But I can't see hello here because it's a private. I can't access it from inspector. Right? Okay. Now we will use public. Now next thing which we will be learning about is int. Int is an integer. Okay. Now what int means? For example, I will firstly give you an example. Int is score. Okay. Int score equals to 1. So what this means is I already in the starting only I given them a value that in this the starting should not be 0. Starting should be 1. If I remove this and I save and just like control save, okay, and then you can see after it compiles you will see the score only will be 0. But basically if I want that in the starting player should have a score anything, so you can say it's 0. So that's why I will be writing it like score equals to 0 or 1 or anything. Okay, now what's an integer? So integer is considered as a whole number. Okay, anything which is a whole number like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 etc. Great. We use integer, it's a number. We can use it for anything wherever we need to get a count. Like it can be a score, it can be a health, it can be anything which you want a count of. Okay. Now private, sorry, not public. And now we'll know what float and I will give it a health. Now what generally float is and what's the difference between float and it? Both are kind of a number only, number variable, but what's the major difference? The major difference is in integer, you can't write 1.1. You can't use decimal like 1.01. But in float, you can do it. You can also do 1 like this whole number. like this. Also, you can do 1.05 f. Just remember, when you use decimal, you need to write f at the end. It means whole number and decimal. If you want to use something that like where you are not sure that yeah, it may have decimal, it can be a player health which is like remaining 2.5% maybe. So in that case you need a float. But if you know that okay, my values will be only whole number like 1 2 3 4 etc., then you can only use int. Just remember, in float, whenever you are adding a decimal number after a point, you need to add a f at the end. You can see at the end I have added a f, correct? So that's why it's added only because so that it states like that's the general formula. And but if I am only adding a whole number in float, I just don't need to write any f in it. It's simple. Great. You can even write like 1.25, 1.35, anything. It's 1, 2, 3 also any number. Great. We understand about int, understand about float. Now, one thing which we will be understanding about public bool. What is an bool? I will save it first and I will show because I've added in the starting only what's the difference it is going to make. Okay. Currently score is 0. Okay. Just remember that. Okay. Now I see that score is currently also 0. Health is 1.05. Now, why score is 0? There's a basic reason. Score I set it to 1, correct? And now I will just play the game. Correct? It's not here. Because we need to also update is like here also. Correct? Well, let's update it here. Like how? Score double equals to 1. Sorry, not double. Score equals to 1. Like this, I will update it here and I will just remove it from here for the basic things. Like you can basically do like this. Now now it's in the start function. Okay, it's in the start function where the score is will be converted into from 0, it will be done into 1. So start function only plays when we just play the game and update. You can see it's 1 now. Health is 1.0. Now what is win? Okay, what is boolean? You can see tick and false. So boolean generally is like true and false. Okay, bool is generally true or false. So we use generally bool for triggering something like if there's a bool name, for example, win. So there will be a condition if, for example, if win equals to true, then then we can just add like win panel dot set active true. If win equals to false, then we can add the opposite of it. So bool is we use bool whenever we need to know about what's a true and false. We need to trigger something in a true and false also. Both scenario, okay. So if win equals to this, I will just tick it. It means true and untick equals to false. In default, it will be false. So if I want that win, here you can see equals to true also, like this, and just save. And when I play, you will see that it will get ticked whenever I will play the game after the compiling. Okay, you can see it's compiling. Now I will just click on it. Okay, you can see it's currently disabled. And where as soon as it will play, the score will be also get 1 and it's also get tick. Correct? So win is it becomes tick. So bool can be used at anywhere whenever we need to have a option where we need to have the data of true and also we need to have a something knowledge about false also. A true scenario and a false scenario, which is needed for it. Any game bool is like most all these are common variables which are like definitely it will be gonna come in use because no game can be done without creating getting a reference of a game object. No game can be done with getting a reference without like getting a reference of int, float, and all, or a bool also, because these are basic things. So there's a quick recap. Game object is something which consider for all the game objects we are using in the game. So it can be main camera, it can be player, it can be anything. Int equals to integer. It consists of whole number like 1, 2, 3, 4. No decimal, nothing. So that contains a. If I want to give any points, so I give a nickname. We all know why we give it a nickname and all. If you didn't know this, you can watch the previous video. And here in the start function, what start and update function I've already told. So here you can see that win equals to true. How I'm adding it, 1 equals 2, and then giving it a reference and closing it. Great. Giving it a value and closing. Public float. Float is somewhere where when we want to have a whole number also, and also there is a possibility of adding it as a decimal number. Okay. So float consists of both whole number and decimal. Just whenever you are adding a decimal number, like I did it 1.05, 505, then you need to add f at the end, because if you don't add f at the end, it will not. If it will give you an error. What error? Generally, Visual Studio also tells you this. So it's telling literally of double uh, cannot be implemented converting to type flow. Use an f suffix to create an internal of this. So it's already telling that use an f suffix. Sometimes error only also tell you the solution. So I've added the f and it got stuck. That's how it works. Bool, we all know whenever we need to add a true and false, it's just like a boolean. True, false. It just have only two options. If it will be true, then whatever in the code you have written, like, okay, when bool becomes true, this should happen, it will work. And when bool equals to false, this should work. And all this comes in the conditions, which are the main thing which we will be covering out in our future videos. And to know about that and to like stay updated with those videos, you need to that hit that subscribe button. That will generally make you also updated. We are trying our best to posting a regular videos on daily basis. So just check that out. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime. One thing is something, a variable, which I will be covering in the next series, that how to give a reference of a script or of a component, okay, of or a component like rigid body, etc., as a variable. How to do it, I will cover in the next video so that uh it don't get a like a bulky thing for you guys. If you have any issue, can tell me. Like score equals to 1, win equals to true. I already told you can also give it a reference like here, okay, like in starting win equals to false or whatever, like I can like just untick it and make it win equals to, you can also give the reference here. Just save. I will just save it. And currently you can see it fall. And I have set it to true. Here in the script, you can see win equals to true. Now I will come here, play it. Now, why the reason it's not updating? So the reason behind that is these things generally got updated on the initial basis. So you need to, you have the option for here also, but to get it to in a visible thing, you need to try it on runtime basis. You need to apply it in somewhere like where I did like bool equals to true in the start function, which I'm also doing here, save. Here you can see I happened it here, tick. Okay, that's the reason. I can do the opposite also. Like I can, instead of true, I can write here false. I can also add a value of like 1000. Okay, I will add a super value 100. I can set it to 10. Save all. And now in this case, I will make this tick in the starting so that when it is played, it's already in the code we read false. How it will work? You can see health is also not updated here. So to do that, I will write it here, health equals to 10.055, because to see in updated and live on the inspector, you need to do it in that this way. And why I'm using in the start, not in update? The reason behind this, you basically know. If you didn't, if you have watched the last video, you know it. If you didn't, go for it. And now you can see, I come here, it's false also 110. I think I didn't tick. Yeah, it was tick here. I play, and the score is also become 100 now. Here you can see it. Let it play. Yeah, 110.05, and it becomes false. That's how is update. And whenever in gameplay you want, like for example, score to update, like in code you write like score +1, it will basically update on runtime if on play. So how it works and all things we will cover in the future videos. And for that thing, you need to like subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to save your Unity project and the scripts, and also very much like stay updated with our channel, stay updated with our videos. Like, subscribe, comment if you have any issues, share with your friends. I will see you in another video. Till then, bye bye.